And yes, we are live in another episode of umbraCoffee. It's episode 11. And we have a pleasure to have with us Jeavon, who is an Umbraco MVP. And one of the most active core contributors, as I've named it, and author of many packages, many contributions, and many initiatives around Umbraco. Hi, Jeavon. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I've got my coffee. I'm ready for some Umbraco coffee.
We do coffee, good book, and everything else required to have a great break in the work. So to not waste anyone's time, let's jump straight to the news. And because we have a massive list of them from the past week, a lot of things is going on, and we can start from the one of the biggest ones. So we have finally version 7.8 released. So that's a great news. A lot of interesting things is included in this version. Did you guys had an opportunity to play with the beta version or release version?
Yeah, I took a look at tours quite a lot. It's a really lovely feature. That's one of the big things in this release, I guess, a way of guiding editors around the CMS and highlighting certain things for, say, a new user. I had to play around with that just after Niels' demo at UK Fest. They've been teasing us with it since November, and now finally it's out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, this particular feature, which is pretty much the main feature of 7.8, although there's some more stuff under the hood, it has been in development since June, so it's been going a long time, and obviously the beta is around for a long time. And obviously one of the key things about tours is you can create your own. So if you're making a package or even on your particular client implementation, you create your own and toy your users around doing certain things, which is pretty cool addition, I think.
Yep. I saw that Kevin Jump is working on tours for a translation manager already.
Exactly.
Not wasting any second.
Nice.
We've been thinking about creating an UI for creating tours. So this is something else more interesting, but it's not the topic of today's discussion.
I think Niels did actually show one at UK Fest, did he not? Yes. Like Inception, Umbraco making Umbraco tours. So.
He did. So it was. I spoke to Warren about this yesterday, and it was just essentially content nodes and outputting a JSON file at the end. So saving creates the JSON file. So it would be quite easy to build some kind of back office UI for building Umbraco tours.
Exactly. Inception.
Yes.
How about a tour for showing you how to create a tour?
A tour, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, there were also discussions about bringing back the Clipper from the Microsoft Office package in history. So we will see where it will go in the future. But feel free to document the journey around the creation of all of it. And speaking about documentation, we have Jeavon here, nice jump. We have a new documentation curators in Umbraco community, and Jeavon, you're one of them. I will share my screen and show the blog post about it. It was written by Ilham a couple days ago, and there is a great team of people behind. Exactly behind.
Great photo.
So we have Jeavon, we have Mark, we have Sophie, of course, who was working on the documentation straight from the Umbraco HQ before, and Damien, and that's it. So Jeavon, can you say more about your role there and what you will do?
Yeah, so obviously, as you say, Sophie's been working a lot from HQ. So it's an initiative between the community and HQ to just try and manage the documentation repo better, because it's a lot more tangible for some people who are writing documentation to just create a little pull request and get some review or even get help before they create a pull request. But a lot of time people are having trouble finding documentation. So we want to sort of try and work out why that is, because there is a lot of documentation out there. So we're just a team of 4 to try and sort of facilitate and communicate around the documentation repository, and to just try and get a bit more pulse going on with it. And it certainly has been in the last 2 weeks. It's been really exciting. So much stuff going on in there. Something that is exciting that's not normally cool. So, but it's obviously very important. It's sort of the thing that people forget. You know, documentation is something that people are always asking for, and we're like, well, have you actually thought about writing some, contributing some, yeah. So hopefully we're going to help that process along and encourage more contribution on that side.
Nice. It's something we've been talking about for quite a while. Like the documentation's been getting so much better, and HQ's increased focus on, we're going to make sure there's Sophie's kind of dedicated to improving that documentation. And this is just another step towards making it even better and getting the community involved. I think it's a fantastic initiative.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's always that whole thing about, you know, HQ, you know, obviously they can document how to use cloud, but actually how to create websites and all that sort of stuff. It's much better coming from the community side. So I think it's a great collaboration, and looking forward to it. And obviously one of the biggest complaints, there was a big survey done, is people think there isn't documentation, but as you've just said, there is. It's just trying to work out why people have that perception.
And it's still worth to mention that it's not only up to you, to your four, to contribute and to create documentation. So everyone is welcome to add their own ends, and just it should be done in the standardized way, and maybe more attention will be aimed to take care of it.
Absolutely. We're not a team of authors, we're a team of curators, so we're there to facilitate, and we need community contribution. There's so many different aspects for Umbraco that aren't documented, and it just takes one person to start that process and send us some information, or get in contact, and we can help them as well.
Yeah, that's good. And in this week we also had a release of Skrift magazine. It was issue 34, and Jeavon, you were also included in the.
Jeavon's all over the place.
I am, yeah.
You know, we are using a perfect timing of visibility from specific people, and yeah, you wrote a great article about building blog titled "By the Building Blogs" in 2018. It was about change in your approach of building projects using Umbraco and the whole behind it. That was a great article. And there were also an article from Dominic and Catherine about Umbraco and web accessibility. I also liked it. So we will include the link to Skrift issue number 34 here, and feel free to check it and read it. It was a really great piece of knowledge. And we can jump to another topic, another insight. Because this is something spotted on Twitter lately. Niels was showing some of the headless case studies.
Teasing us again with cool things.
So you know, someone is flying to space to leave their Tesla there, and we have magic done here with Umbraco headless version, which will be run on the cloud, and there is a name Umbraco Headless Cloud Project. So I think that there will be a cloud project possibility of creation of the cloud project there. And yeah, using 9 lines of code, he built up the AI-based chatbot. The CMS, amazing.
Pretty cool.
I don't want to speculate too much, but I reckon this is preparing for a demo of headless at UDF. And I'm particularly looking forward to seeing this working. The demos he's been teasing us with the past few months at UK Fest, and also at the Poland Festival, and in the live stream they did recently has got me really interested. So I'm keen to see what they can do with this. Like chatbots, really cool. They've Niels demoed previously using it to power like an app. Someone's already said they're trying to use it within Xamarin to build a mobile app. So it's got a lot of potential. I'm interested.
You will be our spider, so we'll have
feedback.
Great feedback straight from there. So we'll see. And speaking about festivals, Code Garden opened their call for proposal
and call for suggestions.
Yeah,
really, which I think is a really lovely idea, because they've put out to the community, actually, what would you like to see? What are you interested in? Then they'll contact the relevant people or find a good speaker for those. We'll probably try and incorporate that into our festivals this year. I think the UK and Poland Festival, it would be rather than putting on these talks from these people who think their talks are going to be look good. Let's hear from what the people actually coming and paying for their tickets want.
Yeah. it'd be interesting to see what people suggest, and also you can obviously then get a theme from that. If people are suggesting the same things, then
yeah. One thing I think would be cool is if they actually just, with some moderation, maybe listed everything that people have suggested on a page on the site, so you can people that maybe want to submit a talk but don't know what on could go there and have a look. There's some demand for this, kind of like a Twitter poll, but you can vote for other things. So 20 people have said they really want to hear about this. Maybe I could submit a talk. Maybe I'm the right person to do that.
Yeah. DDD is doing it, right? And list of submissions and some kind of poll or voting process to select and to hear what people want to hear. Because it's a level of contribution, I think. Because I really loved it in the position from the guy who wants to hear something specific, and they will listen. Those people who wants to see something specific on the event. And today, even they shared an interesting information from Morten that if anyone needs any help, even writing or reviewing a talk proposal, they're open to help, and they will help everyone who is maybe not even ready to send the proposal, because it's not don't need to be in a really formal stage. It just needs to be an idea, maybe, which will require some of the polishing. But yeah, that's great, and I think that I will try to submit something maybe too. And jumping to the releases, Callum, did you see any of the latest releases?
Yes, we've flagged a couple times in the past few weeks that Nathan Wolf has been really active on Plumber, which is like a workflow builder from Umbraco, and there's yet another release. More updates. So this week, version 0.6 of Plumber came out. It looks really cool. I saw on Twitter this morning a screenshot of, I've not actually played with it too much, but a screenshot of the UI, and it looks super nice. So maybe I should give it a go.
And he's from Australia, right? Nathan
Yes, he will be at Umbraco Down Under Festival. I think he's demoing Plumber, so that's why there's a lot of work going into it right now.
Yeah, and we have also a new package on the hour, which is called Redirects Viewer. It's from Dave, and yeah, it lists the redirects which are created for the specific document, content document in the back office. It's really interesting. I'm also going to try it, and because I saw some even threads and responses from people that it's something what they really need in their solution and projects. And it's even maybe worth of considering to include it to the new redesigned info section maybe at some point.
Definitely, and they're expanding that info section coming in later releases. Speaking to Warren yesterday, as part of the GDPR compliance, they've got to keep a full trace of every single thing that gets changed and by who. And in turn, they're kind of reworking a lot of the revisions and the history section in the info tab with a new UI as well. So I think that's actually out in 7.8, an updated UI refresh of that.
Yeah.
But then it's now a perfect place for us to put a bit more information, such as redirects or other properties. Don't know. And
we also had a release from Shannon in topic of the IOC containers. The package called Our Umbraco IOC with some additional packages for light inject and autofact. This is a really nice timing because we haven't had time to check it when it was in beta. There were no issues raised during this time, and I don't know, Jeavon, did you have the chance to check it?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it gets you started straight away. Obviously, you can choose at the moment. You can just choose light inject or autofact, but I know there's already a PR for Unity, and I know Shannon wants pull requests from people who use certain containers for all, to get a collection of them together.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's good. It's obviously, it just means it's got all the sort of gotchas are covered by it. I mean, you can obviously use these already yourself, but it just means that it's the stuff you'd have to sort of dig around to work out is already covered for you. So, and obviously, with version 8 at some point, which will all be light inject, it's a good time to start getting your projects if you're not already using it. And then you should just be able to transition straight over ish.
Yeah, we were using it in a couple of our projects just because it will be used in Umbraco at some point. But yeah, we lately run on some kind of troubles with the cloud projects where there were conflicts with light-inject libraries used. And that's why we want to give it a try and maybe check if it will solve those issues and maybe respond somehow to them.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, within Umbraco Deploy, they're actually using Light Inject. So for their internal closed source tools, they're already using Light Inject. And as Jeavon mentions, in version 8, they will be transitioning to Light Inject in the core as well. So it's definitely the container to be using, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely good to get familiar with it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the list of the basic news which we wanted to cover. So Jeavon, having you here, maybe you can say us more on what are you working on right now? What are your plans of your contributions? Because you've done a lot of things for Umbraco, organized a series of trainings and workshops called UmpX, a couple packages. Yeah, a lot of things, and I was always impressed how you find time to do all of it besides your daily routine. So yeah, feel free to share what are your plans for the future and what are you doing right now.
I suppose recently we myself and Andy Butland from Zone worked on and created the health check scheduling feature that was released in Umbraco 7.7. Which amazing, a lot more people are using than I thought might use it initially. And obviously we created a Slack version of that as well, which is quite handy. So you can get your health checks posted through to your Slack channels, and only if most people have it configured, so only if there's something wrong. So that's pretty good. Also, it's certainly, we've been working on a version of Slimzy, version 2, which we've been working on for a very long time, just because there's never enough time, as you say, especially to write documentation for it, which we have done. So so Slimzy 2, I think we're on our 3rd beta now. We've had amazing feedback, and we're on beta 3 now. Had amazing feedback and a lot of great feedback from people who've just went straight in there and went for it. And Slimzy 2 is obviously it is an easy way to implement responsive images, like super easy. Also lazy loaded responsive images as well. We're in Umbraco, and it's using image source set or picture elements. So as opposed to Slimzy 1, which was using a JavaScript thing because there wasn't really sort of standardized approach. So many people using it, which is great, and I love the feedback. And it's such good, especially with betas, and we're on the 3rd beta, and every single one we've had an absolute ton of feedback and improvements as well, which is brilliant. So Umbraco community is great like that. Apart from that, what else have we been doing recently? There was a new setting added in Umbraco 7.7.3, which is specific to Azure Web Apps. It is documented within the documentation, but it took us a very long time between ourselves and Shannon to really diagnose this one, which is whereby sometimes when Azure automatically transitioned a site from one server to another, it would just die. Umbraco would just die, and we couldn't really work out why. It turned out it was to do with the plugin cache being locked. So this new setting that's been added, which actually makes a lot of sense, is called Umbraco Local Temp Storage. So if you set the setting, it tells Umbraco where to put all of its temp files. So that's disk cache. Examine has its own thing, but you can use Examine has its own setting, which is equivalent. So all of those files can now be controlled to the environment temp folder, which solves this problem on Azure Web Apps from just suddenly dying for no reason. But yeah, it took a long time of trying something, putting it up there, and just waiting. But it's good, and no more sudden deaths since that. So if anyone's using Azure Web Apps and aren't on 7 or on something lower than 7.7.3, I would recommend they look into this.
Interesting. We'll put a link to the documentation for that in the description. That's really interesting.
Apart from that, writing Skrift articles, writing the documentation blog, and that sort of stuff. So I've been quite busy on those 2 things. Obviously I'm going to be at the Germany Festival. I'm going to be doing a session at that. I'm not sure what the session will be yet. I will be working that out soon.
We shouldn't reveal it. You know, I'm also working. I'm also working on my topic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. That's a lot of knowledge coming from you right now, and we are all looking forward to more. And yeah, keep up the good work. There is a lot of amazing things going on. We've been using a lot of your packages lately, also for managing blob files on storages, all the things related with the.
Oh yeah, that's updated and
file
released.
provider.
Yeah,
Hey,
we finally got that released, and yeah. So if you haven't got the release version of that, make sure you update.
Yeah, breaking news.
Yeah.
Doing that. Cool. That's very good. Yeah, you've been also on the meetup yesterday, right? You both were.
Yes.
I left quite a lot earlier than Callum. But,
yes. My head was very sore this morning.
Yeah, Callum just asked to finish umbraCoffee earlier because
I need to go for a sleep.
Yeah, that was a great. There were also in Bristol meetup at the same date. Yep. If I'm correct. And yeah, just checking the list of the things which we didn't cover yet. It was a Nathan Wolf profile released this month. We mentioned him earlier regarding to Plumber package. Yeah, there were some interesting feature requests which I've spotted on the issue tracker. One brought my attention because it was about new events for content type changing and content type change. Because there is a requirement to handle some kind of changes between document types, and it's maybe a good way to detect those changes and extend Umbraco in this way. Shannon,
pretty surprised that's not already a thing, actually.
Yeah. There are some events about savings and changes in the case of publishing, but not on the changes of document types. It wasn't well supported to some of the 7 point something because it wasn't even easy and possible to change document types at some point. So maybe it's just something what was missing, and that's if you were also in the need to have those events, feel free to go to this link and upvote the issue. To help it to be recognized and picked up by HQ and maybe some other community members. We've had a blog post from Shannon about locking out user with some kind of property. I didn't know that it's possible and so easy.
And the Owen thing, isn't it? Owen thing.
Yep. Owen thing. And from me, we are organizing a conference for business people here in Warsaw, in Poland, and we will be talking about CMS systems in the cloud. And of course, Umbraco is included in this list, and I will be performing talk together with Rune about using Umbraco for high traffic websites based on Azure. So that will be interesting. So if you are from Poland and Warsaw, or you want to visit Warsaw, feel free to jump in and visit our event. There will be Contigo, Sitecore, some other CMSs covered as well.
I can't say those names. This is not Sitecore coffee. This is
yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else to mention? Do you want to say something more?
No, I'm off to UDuff, and I think we're going to do a couple of Australia UDuff focused umbraCoffees in the coming weeks. So keep your eyes out.
Yeah, have fun.
I will.
Kangaroo and Spider as an next guest.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, enjoy your trip. We are all jealous.
Yeah, it's going to be much warmer than it is in London right now.
And in Poland for sure too. Cool. Yeah. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Jeavon, for joining us.
Cheers, Jeavon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And have a great rest of the day and the weekend, and see you all next week. And feel free to leave us a comments here who you want to see in the umbraCoffee episodes, what topics do you want to be covered. We are preparing some kind of other series like live coding, which we've mentioned. So if you want to do or propose us anything, feel free to do this here on YouTube. We are going to read it all. Thank you for watching us, and yeah, see you next week.
Happy weekend.